Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Winter is just around the corner and lots of people put their boats away. Well, let me tell you, winter is actually the best time to go fishing.
That's right. We got actually lots of reports as it is at the moment. Western Port has been on fire with King George whiting. We got some garfish, some King George whiting around the west side of Port Phillip Bay. And today what we're going to do, we're going to take a bit of a look what happens in April. Saying that, first clip going to be from 2019 when we were chasing squid, cuttlefish, and it's actually around St. Leonard. So let's have a look at that clip to start with. This adventure is from April 2019 and it is our favorite time to chase squid. As you see in the distance, even dolphins are here for some squid. We are just in front of St. Leonard's in 6 meters of water, and of course we're drifting. The drift was just under 1 kilometer per hour and the game was on. This time Jerry and Mima had a bit of competition, but if I was Jerry I would not bet on him. Not even 5 minutes in and Mima was on. This time the squid took the solid black jig. If you pay attention here, we actually made a hole in a bucket lid, and this lid actually saves you like that for getting sprayed by squid. Check it out. Well, this situation here was a little bit unfair. Jerry didn't even get a chance to cast. Mima was on the second squid, black jig again. While Jerry was in the office, he got the honor to land my squid as well. This time this squid took a pure white jig. We did not film the squid that I just got before, but you can tell by my shirt. So far, Jerry landed the most squid, but as far as catching, Mima was winning like black caviar. The squid was actually quite decent size, and yeah, the black jig was kinda the favorite for today. I will not mention the brand of this jig, but it is a solid black with green eyes and the size is 3.0. The pure white didn't work too bad, but still Mima was bringing 5-1. And then what do you know, Jerry had a chance to fish and is landing a monster. It is a cuttlefish. When it comes to eating quality, cuttlefish is my favorite. And I think Jerry ordered this one just for me. After that he managed a few more squid himself, but he lost the battle. Well, even he was losing, he was still smiling.
As you saw, squid is starting to show up pretty much everywhere. In St. Leonard's, Indented Heads, Port Arlington, Clifton Springs. Well, pretty much all around the bay.
That's right. Besides squid, we actually start to get quite a bit of King George whiting, and St. Leonard's just about to fire up. We're getting them at the moment in Swan Bay, we get them in Queenscliff, around the Mud Island a few times. Just remember, to catch a King George whiting, you need a bit of flow. You don't go there on a slack. If the water's slack, it's no flow, then just start drifting for squid. This time in next clip you're gonna see we actually managed to get some garfish. That's our favorite. And we spot them, we burled, we spot them, and we start targeting them. Now, it's the first time we use that here fishy burley. It's actually quite good. It's got ship pellets or with tuna oil, and then it's got these green bins as well that attracts King George whiting, and it actually dissolves pretty good in the water. So yeah, you're gonna see that in the next clip. And we got Will on board. Will was actually, he just came catching marlin, catching bluefin tuna, but talking barrel, 100-kilo tuna, but he had hard time catching garfish. Let's watch the next clip. Well, we are in the middle of the Swan Bay, 2-meter depth, and for the first time we're trying this fishy burley. Looking at the underwater footage later, the burley was dissolving really nice, and what do you know, results straight away. First fish we landed, it was the target fish, it was King George whiting. Saying that, the burley also attracted the flathead, the pufferfish, stingrays, you name it. We will put one episode together on how to burley, what burley to use, when not to use. And yes, there is quite few brands of burley that we use, from red bullets, gotcha, here fishy burley to homemade burley. In meantime, Mima spotted garfish and she started getting into them. The key is not to burley too much, but from time to time, throw a handful. That will keep the fish in the area. As you see, even the stingrays come to it. If you burley too much, think about it. The water flow, the current actually, will take it away, so guess what else goes away? The fish. While Mima was concentrating catching some garfish, I was still targeting King George whiting. Some King George whiting here was nice and some they were small. And the small ones, guess what? They would go back. In meantime, Mima was quite successful getting some garfish. On the other hand, Will was trying hard. For him, this was first time targeting this kind of species, and garfish can be a really finicky. As far as eating quality, they're just awesome. There is no size limit on garfish, but keep in mind there is a bag limit, which is 40 per person. There is quite few different techniques targeting this fish, and I already spoke to Mick at Hooked on Bite and Tackle to actually talk about garfish, targeting them, burley for it, what bait to use. So we're gonna leave all that information for our next episode in future. As you've seen in all our previous episodes, these episodes are not about me and Mima. These episodes are meant to be educational, fun, and help everyone out there to catch their dream fish. Just before this trip, Will was actually in Bermagui and he got some big marlin. Then he went to Portland. He got barrel. But he came here and he couldn't get a mini marlin. He was getting some benjos, but that doesn't count. But in meantime, he was actually joking, asking Mima, how come you don't need harness or gimbal to bring this marlin in? Well, Mima's answer was, I forgot my Tiagra 50W at home. Checking the underwater camera later, I see no one King George whiting under the boat, but we still keep catching him. Well, this time was my turn on a mini marlin, and then Mima actually gets a double. Then, cause I don't use float, my hooks fell on the bottom, and on the garfish setup I got another King George whiting. Since King George was still around, I decided actually to target them. And again, some of the King George whiting we were getting were nice size, but some of them were actually too small and they had to go back. Well, this one actually was invited for dinner. Well, the very next one is gonna miss having dinner with us, so he had to go back. All I can say, there was quite a bit of action. A bit of King George whiting, a bit of garfish, and a few flatheads. This particular flathead made 50 centimeters, and I got him on garfish setup. I left the rod unattended for a little while, the hooks fell on the bottom, and guess who took it? After we had a bit of fun, then we left and went straight to Prince George to try for some squid. First squid we got, took the Shimano banana jig. Here, Will was in his element. He managed to invite quite a few squid for dinner.
Well, if you have been watching our episodes regularly, you will have noticed that our episodes are not just all about us.
Well, we actually love people's input. We actually love when people send us a message and say, okay, look at what I caught, and we actually can present that to you guys. But today we got something special. We got the adventure of our friend Brett Reeds. So the last couple weeks, Brett was actually phenomenal on King George whiting. He got some snapper, squid, you name it. So let's watch Brett's video. Enjoy.
Last year I caught this snapper in 2 meters of water. I accidentally dropped it on its head, otherwise I would have released it. I would have loved someone to catch this fish again. The craftsmanship and the detail in this fish is amazing. This fish will live on my wall for many years to come. In South Australia, they have already stocked 200,000 fingerlings, and I'm confident with human effort and science we can sustain healthy fisheries. They say that these big fish are rare, but I think we need them to be rare to make them special. And if you've been watching my videos, you would have seen me catch this fish. A beautiful Western Port snapper. So let's do this together, eh? Hello everyone. Well, I've been trying to get a video over in Port Phillip Bay for the last week, and I've had 2 failures. I went once with Sonny. Good boy, Sonny. He's a goodie.
I went running from you.
We had heard a bit of. Remember what I said when he runs? Let him run. He's got you. Wind it. Good boy, Sonny. No, don't mind, let him take it. Good boy, Sonny. Yeah, there's another one there to karate chop him. Catching the fish wasn't the problem, it was just getting the footage. Either I've had sound problems or some sort of problems. I went with Kenny, we got gummy sharks, snapper and squid. The fishing is just amazing at the moment. This camera here cost 5 times the amount of that car there, and that's how dedicated I am to this. And I get all this cool footage that I want to show, but I just can't show because there's no full story. So I'm going to roll the clips from the last couple of weeks from Port Phillip and Western Port. Just failed. It's never about catching the fish. We can always catch the fish, but it's just getting a worthy story to tell. When I'm watching a video, what do I want out of it? I either want to be entertained or learn something. Everyone's different, so everyone likes different things, so it's so hard. It's a gummy, boys. Woo! Nice and easy. How much drag is it? Still tight?
Yeah. Don't go to the water.
Oh no. Give me the rod.
He jumped out.
He did. You know, not massive, but a good eater. One that we're going to take. Is that your biggest? There's one. That's a good one, man. That one's on too, can you hear? I don't want to lift him up. There's another goodie. I've been on the phone to Possum, and whiting on a slow tide is a challenge. It's very challenging to catch whiting on a slow tide, but hey, I'm up for that. And today we've got a bit of a plan. I want you just to come along with us. Whiting is a very messy fishing. You always got mess all over your hands, and not everyone's got a squillion dollars, and this is a good mid-range reel that will get the job done. It's a Shimano Nexus. It's in the size 2,500, spooled with quality braid. The rod has passed the reed test, the reed test is because I'm so clumsy with my rods, I always end up breaking them. So this one has been around for 2 years, so it's permanently in the reed stable. It's a Zamiki Zing. This one cost me $165. Got 2 of them, and I recommend them, highly recommend them for whiting.
It's going to be a bit of a challenge today. We've got an hour and a half of the run into coming in now, but it's only a small tide. Me and Brady, we've got a plan. We're going to fish the last of the run in, then we're going to go and fish the run out. So it could be a little bit tough, but that's what it's all about. When it's tough, you've got to work hard and still find the fish. So Brady's pretty confident. I'm a little bit, the morale's, a little bit like that.
No, the morale's up.
He reckons the morale's up. The confident, I'm not that confident, but hopefully we'll be able to track them down.
I don't know what Possum's on. The morale is at an all-time high. Well, the morale comes straight down because we quickly realise it's going to be very, very tough. Today's fishing strategy involves using the tried and true combination of pippy, mussel and squid as bait, accompanied by a bait knife and rags to keep your hands clean. The technique remains consistent, scouting for sandholes and testing each bait before we progress to the next. Our fishing rigs and hooks consist of a long shank on a Reedy's Tanganosta, ensuring a reliable and successful fishing experience. We are equipped with a variety of small sinkers that can be easily swapped out to accommodate changes in the current at various depths. This enables us to adapt to the conditions and maintain an optimal fishing experience. On a slow tide, when it's low, we like to fish super deep, like 15, 20 metres around the tide change. But on this occasion, it was running to the high tide. So we didn't want to fish super deep because we feel like the whiting still go up on the banks on the high tide, on a small tide, but not so much right up on the banks, just to sub-banks as we like to call them. The other thing we're looking for is flow. And you've heard the saying, no flow, no go. Well, there's always flow on any tide. You just need to find that flow.
We're facing that way.
Yeah.
And our lines were going that way.
Here comes Puff and Billy.
Yeah. Well, we're ticking a few over. Yeah. I'm surprised at this stage of the tide. I didn't think we'd get bugger all, Brady.
I just think it's because where we are, the depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of hard to nut out where exactly to cast, eh?
If we stay like this, now
it's just
once that current runs, it looks like
we're straight out the back. Yeah.
The circle's just here, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's a good one.
Yep.
This is a good one.
Hope so.
You just see him run. He's got more.
Yeah, good fish by the look of it.
Oh my God.
Good bite.
Look at the size of this one.
Yep.
Oh, look at him. Here it comes. The good old friendly banter.
Well, you'd written the quail off last week.
Well, this is not the quail.
It is the quail.
It's not the quail.
Oh, you're a disgrace.
We're off the bank.
It's still this end of the bay.
Yeah.
We were throwing them back last week.
Oh,
Me and what's his name? Ollie? That was a throwback, mate.
I've never written a quail off. To put some context on what we're talking about, this time of year the massive whiting generally moves south, and I know from experience that fishing south would be a lot easier than Warneet. Possum's got a thing for Warneet, which I don't blame him because it's a beautiful place. He would never throw back a 42 centimetre whiting. He was joking.
Oh, look at him. Oh, it's a squid.
Give me squid rod. I'm just holding him. There's another one at the back of him.
Yeah. I've got to tie this knot.
See that?
Being prepared and having a third rod rigged with a squid jig can often net you some big squid.
Right, I'm in business.
A couple now or not?
On the slow tides in Western Port, my preferred size is a 2.5. On this particular day, the squid weren't taking every colour, so I had to change a few colours, but eventually I got it right.
Yeah, he's coming over.
Here he comes.
Got him.
He's got him. Fucking rip up.
That's a big one. There you go, possum.
That was some great angling by Possum. By leaving the squid he had on his jig in the water, kept that other squid around the boat.
Oh my god. Oh. Look, step over, right?
Right, I'm not coming up. You're not coming up.
We've got some monsters. Beauty. I'm going to hold them up.
Throw your jig back out, I reckon.
Yeah. Chuck that out.
Yeah, good squid. They're a bonus, man.
Chuck, bring them in the boat.
Yep.
Oh,
Did you squirt again?
Yeah.
Where?
Follow this.
So, just a bit of a rundown, Possum.
Well, as we spoke about before we come out this morning, it was a really, really small tide. We knew we'd have to work hard, and we have. Had to move around quite a bit. Went up fishing deep and getting a pretty good bite going. As you can see, really, really nice box of whiting, but you had to earn them. You had to move around. We could have given up at lunchtime because it was tough.
All good size?
Yeah, they're all around 38s and that. We didn't get any real big thumpers, you know.
I think we got one.
Got one probably 42, but
Yeah,
but just a lovely box of fish and a couple of squid to go with it. So
how would you rate the...
yeah, well, on a day like today, when you've got the Tinganossa and you've got the bit of feather on it, when they're not biting real well, that feather can make a hell of a difference. I've fished with blokes before, and they've got the feather and I haven't got the feather, and on a tough day, that feather, just by moving your line and that, it can attract the whiting and it can make a huge, huge difference. But down here at Warneet, still plenty of fish to be had.
Middle of the day as well?
Yeah, middle of the day. We've just had the best bite of the day was the last 2 hours.
On the slack, wasn't it?
Virtually on the slack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
3.5 metres of water off the quail bank.
Beauty.
Well, before we go, we're going to just mention a few places that people actually report to us that there is fish. Coria Bay, there's still some snapper. Little young Cody was really getting into them. There is a couple other people that catching them there. So there is gummies along that, all around the Geelong Channel. Port Allington, we've seen on the camera yuccas, we've seen a red mullet, we even seen at the old channel, we even seen King George whiting. So we've been getting pinkies. They've been quite undersized, but we've been getting quite a lot. Don't be surprised this time of the year there is some big flathead. As you see, this young lady, she actually caught a 50 centimeter flathead. And actually I met the family at Geelong Marine World today. And I got the picture so I can share it with you. And she's one of, her little sister and the brother, they are a big fan of Happy Fisherman.
Once again, thank you for watching and we will see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big